So for any arithmetical operation you want to carry out, you have to you have to add equals to before that arithmetical operation, and that's exactly what we call uh, function. Sorry, formula. So now let's move on. So we have something we call formula and function. Function is predefined formula. That is, it is already pre-installed. It's already predefined in Excel. So we all know 1 plus 2 is equals to 1 and then sum 2. Sum means addition. Probably we are trying to add one cell and the other. So now if I write something like this sum, that means addition, right? If I call it 1 and 2, then I say sum, you already know that okay, I'm trying to add both of them. But this English word that I've written is a predefined formula that Excel already recognize that okay, whenever this thing is called, this particular function is being called, it means I'm actually supposed to add the values, right? So in this case, before you can start anything, obviously you have to start with an equals to, right? So now let me just do it in another case. So equals to what? SUN, right? Open. Now let me do it again. Equals to SUN. So you can see as I'm writing it, Excel is giving me variety of functions that Excel is suggesting a lot of function, variety of function that it has stored in its memory. So we cannot treat everything in this particular cohort. Maybe you cannot treat 1/4 of it. And you will not be using everything as a qualified data analyst. You only need maybe it depends on your field of study, and that's what you will be needing. Or you need maybe I need some now. I've never used SIM. I don't even know what it's used for. So let's say SU, I can see some of the stuff, but I want this sum. You can just click, or you can use your arrow key to navigate there, or you can click your N. Once you click your N, the sum will be the first thing. So if you over your mouse there, you can see add all the number in the range of cells. And basically that's what I'm trying to do. So the next thing you want to click on is your tab key on your keyboard. So once I click my tab key on my keyboard, notice what the change here. Sorry, like this. So tab key, can you see automatically I'm being given a plus, sorry, a parenthesis. So now it is asking for number one. What number am I trying to add? I want to click on this cell. By clicking on this cell, I'm trying to add this particular cell. That's P5 and this one. So I want to write this one, comma. Can you see after number one, it said comma 2. Now it's asking for number 2. I want this one also. So I want to close my bracket. Now it's still asking for let me open my bracket again. It's still asking for number 3, but in this case I just want to add 1 and 2. So I want to close my bracket, then click on enter key. So it is giving me 3. So what if I change this one to 70? So 70 plus 2 is supposed to give me 72. So once I click on 70, I change this one to 70, and I can see this one got updated immediately. Now let's do something. There's a difference between function and formula. So now let's say this is 2, this is under cell 2, right? So formula is just this one. I am adding this one plus plus this one, enter. So this function equals to sum. My tab key, this one, comma, this one, right? Enter. So both of them give me the same answer, and both of them are correct, right? So what's now the difference? So now let's say we change this one to 10 and change this one to 10. So both of them change to what? 12. And that's quite good. So this one 20. Let's change this one to 220. Both of them change to 230. Wow. Oh, okay. Both of them are actually working very well. I'm actually expecting this one to not change. You did change them. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, both of them are good in this particular case. So let's continue. So we have variety of functions that we'll be looking at today, which are so we have the sum. I think I've explained the sum. Now let me explain another thing. So in case You are working with real life data. Now let's say so okay. So now I want to add all the properties these guys have, right? So let's say I want to add them. So I want to click on equals to, right? The next thing is sum. So I don't want to do 6 plus 86. That's quite a lot, right? I want to do sum, open my brackets, press my tab key, sorry. So when I press my tab key, I want to do 6 comma, right? If I do 6 comma 86 comma 9, that's quite stressful. Now, let's say we have 100,000 row of data, 100,000 rows of data. How do you think I'm going to cope? Because I just want to add um, just 100,000 rows of data. That's too much. So in this case, some help you out, right? So you can just do something like this. I want to add everything here, this range, this particular range of values. So you just highlight them by dragging your mouse, right? So I'm highlighting everything here. You can see B2. This column means B17. So now this B2 obviously to B17. That means Excel will be adding everything in this that I've highlighted. Then you close your brackets. Then you click on enter. So, you can see everything within a click. I've gotten my answer. So if I even if I change anything there, this 6, if I had 4 to this one, that would be 10. So if I had 4 to this one, this would give me 603. So let me change this one to 10. So can you see it's updating in real time, even though I'm changing any values in this particular case, it will still update. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to add between these 505 to the 10. So then close your bracket, enter. You can see 220. So that's basically it for some. And that's basically it for everything you are trying to do. Now, let's say I want to find average of this particular value. Obviously, I don't know the function. This is my first time working with Excel. So I want someone to update their mind and tell me what do you think will be the formula or this function I will be calling. I want to find average. So normally I'm actually supposed to do one, two, three, four. These are 16 values. These are 16 rows of data. I wanted to do everything. So many things over 16. But in this case, that's too much, right? I don't want to go through that stress. What do you think? What functions am I for? Because I want to find average. I already know at the back of my mind the thing I'm trying to achieve is average. What would be the function I'll be calling? Can someone help out? Just a new Ghana call. Just type it in the chat box. Don't worry, you can be wrong. I'll call name soon. Okay, average. Thank you. So you can just, if you type on your average, can you see we have different type of average. So you just want to over your mouse on any, what are you trying to do? Now this one is asking for absolute deviation. Obviously, you are not working with deviation in this particular case. So using your arrow key, you can see this one says return the average of its arguments. This is basically what we are trying to do. So you want to click on your tab key, it will complete it for you automatically. Now, instead of clicking on row one, row two, number one, number two, just want to select the range of value you are trying to find average. Then close your brackets, enter. Now you've gotten your average, which is the same thing probably if we this is the same thing if we've done the manual way, that is by adding all the values, then dividing it by 16. So Excel is very simple. Once you know what you are trying to do, you don't need to know all the formulas. Okay, I'm trying to add and divide. Once you know the function you should apply, then it's simple. So now let's look at some of the function we have here. Now let's say I want to count the numbers. I want to count the rows of data here. So the what I will be calling will be what count, obviously, because I want to count, right? So this one will be count, right? And I count my tab key. So I want to count all this data from Trevor Kathleen address. So I'm clicking on the range. So remember, this is numerical data type. What I just counted now, enter, is giving me 16 rows of data. And basically, I can actually see it with my own eye. That's correct, right? So now let's say I want to count the names of people that are here also. So we want to do equals to, obviously, I want to count. Can you all see my screenshot? I want to count also. So we can see something. When I'm typing my counts equals to COU, then I can see Excel is already suggesting counts for me. So I can just press my tab key. It will auto complete it for me. So once you press the tab key, it auto completes it. What am I trying to count? I want to count the names of this particular children. So now let's say I like it, right? So it's already giving 80 to 17, then close bracket. So when I click enter, it will actually return error. Why? It's returning zero, but I can actually see something like these are 16 names. So why is it returning zero? That means whenever you are using count, count is only for numerical data type. So you have to use count A. When you are counting text data type, you have to use something we call count A. Now you can see count A. If I click on enter, you can see it's now 16. So don't do this mistake. That's why I have to explain it. When you are counting numerical data type, numerical, that's number data, number text, number type, data type. So you want to use count as your formula, as your function. But when you are counting alphabetical data type, or you are counting what they call text data type, you want to use count A as your data, as a function. Do you all understand that? Or should I come again? Hello, can someone unmute? Do you all
I
understand?
understand.
Or should I come
I
again?
understand.
Okay. Thank you.
I do.
Um, Thank you. Okay. So now I don't want to go to people because that's where we will continue in our next 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 class. Okay. Mhm. Okay, let's do something. So we also have what we call if function. Now, this one is not type of Excel, it's not that part of arithmetical operation. So we have different type of function. We have some function for arithmetical operation. Even if you go under your formula data tab, formula menu, you can see something like you have different function here. We have auto sum. You can also use this one. We have recently used. We have financial. You can see different financial functions here. We have logical, obviously logical and if, which is what I'm trying to do now. So we have different logical. We have true. We have false. We have not or. If you have done logic reasoning in mathematics, you understand more about logical function there. We also have text. You can see to find the length of the character. And you see you over your mouse over it, you actually see the function which so to translate the character. This one is to join list of text things together. This one is to find what we and I think I've shown us the function of find the other two. So also left is to count from the left, mid to return the values in the middle, lower, these are just simple. So now we also have date and time function. We have different type of function. So one assignment that we give us today is to explore more function. We have H lookup, we have offset, we have match, we have unique, we have V lookup, H lookup, we have all these lookup here. So I want us to explore more on this. Even though we still treat it in our next class, obviously, I will treat most important function that we use data analysis. But I want us to uh, explore it before the next class. Also, we have different type of stuff here. I'm not saying you should know everything. Obviously, you'll not be using everything, but there are some important things you need to know. So we have more function, and you can see, are you in statistical? Are you focused in engineering? We have different type, and you can also ask using ChatGPT. You have to. I've never used anything in this particular. Okay, maybe statistics. I've used some of the statistics. Maybe I've never used anything. Obviously, I'm not an engineering student. Nothing about field information. I've used some of the information. You look familiar. Okay, I've never used it. Okay, I've used this one. I've not used this one before. So these are the things you can familiarize with it. So that this is a type of logical function. In a way, we don't call it arithmetical operation, we call it data cleaning option. Now, it is asking you, are you fine? Now, it is asking you whether a condition is met and return if value is true or if another is false. So let me just take an example. So, so after if we are going to let me just look at all. Okay. So now this one is if value. I'm trying to check if the condition is met. So now let's open my brackets. So it is asking me for logical test. Logical test is if a condition is met value. Now let's say I want to group this particular stuff. Let's do it here. So it will make sense here. Let's do it in this particular cell. Equals to, right? If I want to press my tab key. Now it is asking me for logical test. So you don't need to cram into. I can see what it is asking me, and that's what I'll be providing answer for. So it is asking me for logical test. Okay, what are you trying to do? Whenever this properties is less than 10, that is, if this value inside bit2, it is less than 10. Now, this less than 10, it is either it is less than 10 or it is greater than 10. So if it is less than 10, that's true. That's logical. Or it is either it is giving me true or false, and that's basically what we call logical reasoning. So if B2 is less than 10, that is, if this property is less than 10, you saying, okay, what value should I return if true? And return 4 marks. If you have property less than 10, return 4 marks. Now notice something, because this one is a string data type, I'm putting it, I'm adding quotation mark before I start. But if I'm returning in FPA type, I will need to add quotation mark. So it's now asking me again, value equals. Now notice when I'm done with this one is a little bit bold, right? So once I close my quotation, then I had my comma. Now you can see it is asking me value equals. Okay, let's say this condition is not met, that if the property is greater than 10, what condition should they return? Okay, I want to say Odogu, that is someone that has more property, you know close my brackets. So it's asking me to close my bracket now. I can close my bracket, then click enter. Less than 10. Sorry, if something is less than 10, that means property like 9. Okay, it actually qualifies for this particular thing. Shibi, if something is less than 10, that's 9 and 9.9 below now. So it actually qualifies for Adobe. Now, see something. If I actually drag this formula down, so we actually have someone poor man. Let's look at this poor man. This poor man actually has nine. What do you call it? 9 property. This 7 is a poor man also. Almost all of them are Odogu in this particular place. And this is a data cleaning thing. Actually, this is just a play, but you can actually you can use it in data cleaning, and we will see more to that in our next class. Okay, let's do some function also. So we also have function. Let's say we want to get today's date today. You can just press in this function, returns the current state formatted. So open your bracket. You can just press the tab key. and you can see 10/19/2025. That's 19th of October 2025. So let's say you want to get to this the time now, or you want to even get the timestamp. What we refer to as timestamp is date and time, and that's what we call timestamp. So you can just say now, and you can see we are in 19 of 10. That's 19 of October 2025. 1750. That's 5:58. Obviously, that was 5:58 before I changed a seconds ago, some seconds ago. So let me see some things we can talk about. Obviously, we don't need everything though. So we also have concatenates. I think I will just let me just go down to the number today. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's look at this. So this is first name, right? This can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, please can you reply an image or something? Okay, good. So we have our first name here, then we have our last name here. Now, let's say I'm not provided with all of this. Let me just delete this. I'm gonna need to delete it. Mhm. Okay. Let's say I'm only giving this. Let's disregard this particular cells. Let's disregard them. So we are giving this particular name to a guy, but we actually need their full name. I'm told to get their full names. Obviously, that means I have to write it in full. Trevor space campus. That's actually a whole lot. Actually feel like almost 20 names. So you want to use something we call concatenate. So we actually have concatenate a list of text string. Actually, you can also use concat and concatenate. They actually have the same function, but I prefer using concatenate. So you can just click on your tab key if you auto complete the function. So it is asking you what's the text one, what's the text test. Obviously, this is my first test, right? What's the next command, comma, so it is asking you for text two. What's the second text? This is the second text. It's asking you if I should add comma, it's asking me for text three. But I don't have text three. So I have to delete this one. It's asking me for text two. This is my text two. So because I don't have text three, I just want to close my brackets here and click enter. So I can see my Trevor campus here. So if I should extend this one, you can see something like a box in this particular cell. So if you can see the shape of my mouse now, the shape of my cursor, sorry, you can see the shape of my cursor. It looks like a plus sign, right? So when I sorry, it looks like a cross now. But when I over the mouse on that small box here, on this small green box, it will change to plus sign. It change to plus sign. So I can just double click it and the stuff here. You can actually see all the stuff here. You can see the what do you call it? You can see the function has been applied to all of them, right? But this one, there's no space there. So in this case, you just want to add K4 before K4 and L4 before we change it to, you want to add space. So you want to do something like this. K4, after this K4, right? So you want to add space, right? Then followed by L4. So if I should do something like this, I've corrected that one, then I can actually drag this one down. Then I can see everything has been corrected. So I have my full names here without typing it manually, and that's how to solve some data cleaning function. So yeah, we will continue here from next class. Do you all understand what we've taught today? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? Okay, I guess we'll call it a day. Thank you guys for joining. Bye.